Hello and welcome back to the channel. Sean Taylor checking in with another Norton V4SS story. Now, Norton Motorcycles has a new CEO, Dr. Robert Henschel. But is he actually new to Norton or new to the Norton V4SS story? He's definitely the new CEO. But as we all know, the Generation One V4SS was the bastard love child of Stuart Garner and Simon Skinner. And its kind of 35 plus birth deformities are well documented. Now, out of the 35 defects, around 50% of them relate to the engine and gearbox. Now, when the V4SS was conceived, Simon Skinner and Stuart Garner went out to Ricardo Engineering. Ricardo Engineering was headed up, their motorcycle division globally was headed up by none other than Dr. Robert Henschel. So the division of Ricardo Engineering who built the V4SS engine was actually run at that time by Dr. Robert Henschel. So the backstory of Robert is clearly going back some time, both with Stuart Garner and Simon Skinner. And his knowledge and intimacy around this bike is clear to see. Now, Robert's come in, he's done the unusual thing, and I think it's the first in British motorcycle history, possibly even global motorcycle history, that anyone has effectively written off the entire production of a Generation One of a motorcycle, or any generation of a motorcycle. I think it's a first that any motorcycle manufacturer has ever passed on losses of 2.4 million to the owners of existing bikes they're refusing to remediate. Now, if you look at the press recently, Aprilia have recalled a number of motorcycles which they're going to remediate. Not only are they going to remediate, but they're also going to renew the warranty. So from the moment they go back to the owners, there's a valid 2-year warranty against those bikes. Honda, Kawasaki, Royal Enfield, etc. have all done similar things over the last 12 months. I myself had a Ducati Dival and my 959 Panigale have all had recalls from Ducati that they have done perfectly for me. And they've collected the bike, they've returned the bike, and left me a happy customer in every intervention. I've never experienced the fact that a manufacturer just simply washes their hands, says, by the way, take a loss of £44,000, and if you want, we will sell you a replacement at a discounted price. That discounted price, if you take the £44,000 we paid for our bikes back in 2016, this would now be a £50,000 bike. So, assuming a generous discount of 25% on 50,000, we're still being expected to spend 37,500 on new motorcycles by Robert. Now, that's great. That's great business because he walks away from having to remediate the Norton V4SS Generation One bikes, avoids the cost and disruption of dismantling, fixing and reassembling and providing back and extending the warranty on Generation One bikes, while actually filling build slots that are empty for the Generation 2 bike. Now, when I spoke to Simon Herbert a few weeks ago, Simon was telling me there are something like 70 unallocated units that they're still trying to sell of the Generation 2/1 V4SS. So there are 55 known produced. We know there's another number which relates to deposit holders and people who have paid in full. And we also know there's another number that's outstanding units not sold. Now, if Norton are going to sell these bikes, the only way they're really going to sell them and gain credibility back in the market is to show the world that the Generation 1 V4SS is safe. Now, the 35 defects that relate to the engine and gearbox, those 50%, that engine and gearbox is going into the Generation 2 V4SS. Are they suddenly going to miraculously be able to fix these in the Generation 2 bike, but say they're non-addressable in the same engine and gearbox in the Generation 1 bike? frankly, we may have a new chief executive in Norton, but the information and the stories that are coming out of the factory, as if Stuart Garner hasn't left. These are words that I can see coming from the lips of Stuart Garner. These are stories that, his legendary ability to sell snow to Eskimos would spin in order to buy time and to buy credibility that he clearly never had. Again, Norton, if you want to sell unallocated units, if you want to gain the respect back of the customers, if you want to attract new customers, and you're really attacking new markets in the Far East, Japan, through to India, through to North America, you're not going to do that with a Generation One bike that has created a sustained loss to the customers and you falsely claimed as not repairable. Please step up. Tell us what you're going to do about Generation One bikes. As always, folks, thanks for listening, and I'll check back in with you soon.